Hey guys, this is Frank.
And Lisa.
And we're back with another episode of
Frank and Lisa Do Stuff.
Celebrity Spottings. Celebrity...
Meetings.
Well, we didn't meet with them.
Well,
I got a meeting scheduled with very famous people.
Yeah, well, we met them.
Yeah, there's...
Celebrity meetings?
No, we'll call them spottings, but they're not really just spottings because you're right, we did celebrity run-ins. That sounds okay. Let's start out with, these are people...
that first, shouldn't we have?
We grew up, we grew up close to Manhattan, so we got to see a lot of famous people if you just maybe spotted them crossing the street sometimes. But also going to see plays or concerts, you had a chance to meet a lot of these people. Like when we were real young, some of them we haven't even been thinking about lately, but we met guys from bands like Y&T when they come out backstage. We'd be hanging out in Brooklyn or Queens at a dive bar watching them play at 2 in the morning, or CBGB's. Yeah. And the bands would come out, hang out, smoke a cigarette, or do other things, and then you'd see them out there and they'd hang out there and BS with you for a while. But these are some heavyweights we're going to talk about today.
Like good ones.
Big time celebs. Yeah. We hobnob with the big ones.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah, I love to hobnob.
I do too.
I'm hobnobbing right now. You wouldn't even know it. Let's start out with...
illegal?
No, not in this state. Nothing's illegal in Florida. Anything goes. I hobnob in public, and I don't even care.
Wow.
I don't care who sees me.
Yeah, wow.
All right. So,
Kanicki.
Kanicki from Greece. Jeff Conaway.
Yes.
Right? Kanicki from Greece, and also from Taxi. Yes. I forget his name on Taxi.
Bobby Wheeler.
Well, I know you loved him growing up. She was in love with Bobby Wheeler. That bastard.
Actually, I was in love with Kanicki, not Bobby Wheeler.
Okay. All right. So I'll start the story and then you take over.
All right. Or I'll interject or whatever.
No. This is really your story more than mine. But every year on our anniversary when we lived up in Jersey, we'd go into Manhattan.
Wait, hold on. Our dating anniversary, which is April 1st, because we are April Fools.
We're a couple of fools.
Yes.
We would go into Manhattan and we'd go to Serendipity, the restaurant, and we'd get the big frozen hot chocolate in the gigantic mug, which was fantastic.
If you haven't been there, you should go.
You definitely should go. If you haven't been to Manhattan, you should go.
That's where they filmed that movie.
Serendipity. Isn't that the name of the movie? How clever of them.
Actually, one of the years we went, we actually sat in the Serendipity actual table or booth that was in the movie. I never saw the movie.
It was breathtaking. I never saw the movie either.
Me either, but anyway.
I'm not a rom-com guy.
Is it a rom-com?
It's a rom-com.
Oh, okay. And because he's not a rom-com guy, then I'm not a rom-com girl, because we basically are home at the same time and watch the stuff together.
Favorite movies, by the way, real quick, right? Your favorite movie of all time is The Breakfast Club. Or The Wedding Singer. Or...
you
can't have 3 favorite movies of all time.
School of Rock. Yeah, I have
School of Rock, that's up there.
All
So that's your style. My favorite movie of all time, hands down, is Jaws.
Yes.
Greatest movie ever made.
This could be a whole other episode.
And it's arguably the greatest movie ever made, not just by me, but by myself and I. Anyway, Kanicki. So we go in there on this particular anniversary, and there's Jeff Conaway standing there with his girlfriend. However, not a great story, because a little bit sad, because he's got a cane.
Yeah, it was like towards the end of his
life.
Yeah.
I think he was struggling with a rare disease of some sort.
Well, he also had been addicted to some kind of pain medication because he had a bad back. Actually, hurt his back while filming Grease, believe it or not.
Doing the whole Grease lightning scene.
And that screwed him
messed
up.
him up
and he got all kinds of drugs and all
He
that.
looked like he had MS. That's what I would have guessed. He was sort of contorted and knotted up. Yeah. But anyway, and his voice was messed up.
Well, he was talking very low.
Having said that, I'm telling the whole story.
Yeah.
He was super kind.
Yes.
I went up to him.
Wait. So we're sitting at the table, and I'm like, I have to go say something. I have to take a picture. She's like,
I have to make out with him. Yeah. It's been my lifelong dream.
Anyway, so I get up. I literally was starstruck. Like, I was shaking. So I went up to him and I was like, I'm sorry to bother you, but can I take a picture or whatever?
I went up to him and I was like, how was the action down at the beach? Sorry.
So he was like, well, no, just take a picture. He's like, give the camera to my girlfriend. Like, let's take a picture together. And I was like, so anyway, here we are, cheek to cheek, picture together.
We'll put the picture up here in the video.
Yes, and then he kissed me on the cheek, and he was so kind and gentle. What is that from? He's kind and gentle.
I thought you just said it.
Elaine, Seinfeld, yes.
And you were so
Elaine.
kind and gentle.
Tim Watley, yeah.
And Tim Watley was...
anyway, yeah, so I got a picture with him, and he was super sweet, and it was amazing. And
we'll put all the photos up of every celebrity I mentioned so that we can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that indeed, in fact, we did meet these people.
It did happen right here. Well,
yeah, so that was a great one.
Yeah,
that
and then
made
the whole
your day.
rest of the day, yeah, I was in seventh heaven.
That was like when I met the Fonz. Oh,
I met him too.
Oh, I was going to say we.
You
Just now I was going to correct myself and say we. I'm self-correcting like that. But oh my God, Henry Winkler. I mean, you kidding? I grew up in the 70s and Winkler was it, man. He was the Fonz, right? So he, there was a restaurant that had opened up where we were living at the time in Jersey, and it had
opened up. It was
It was already opened. Yes, Lisa.
Lots and lots of years.
No, was it?
Yeah.
Anyway, it had a 50s theme going on. It was like a circular restaurant. You pulled in like the old slots at like Mel's Diner, like a drive-in diner, and they had old 50s cars there and trucks all the time in car shows, and we found out that Henry Winkler was going to be there, and I was like, oh my God, the Fonz is going to be there. I got to go. So we did. We got there and we waited on a massively long line, right? And you know, poor Henry Winkler, right? Because now we watch him in whatever the show is.
Barry.
Yeah, Barry. Great. You gotta watch Barry if you haven't seen Barry. It's worth it for Henry Winkler just to watch Winkler. He's a master, a great actor. People don't realize. Anyway, we waited on this very long line, and poor Winkler, he's got to stand there and shake everybody's hand and sign their. Yeah, but it was a long line. There for hours and hours, going like, thank you so much, thank you very much, thank you. But anyway, that's what you get when you're famous. I mean, I don't like doing it either.
Yeah, wow, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, he's like as tall as me.
Yeah, it's a very short guy. Well, do you know that most actors, they want them to be 5'8" men, because the camera likes that height.
Yeah, I don't even think he's that tall, because I'm only 5'4", and he basically was the same height as me, maybe a little taller.
And I've noticed that most famous people are shorter men. I'll speak for men, because you know there aren't many 6'4" women, but I'm 6'4". Our son is 6'7". Our other sons are all over 6 foot. So we're used to tall people, but when we meet these celebrities, they're little people.
They're my people. They're at my level.
They're little people compared to us. Yes. Although when I walked on the NBA court for the first time and the players walked by me, and I was like, it was the most bizarre feeling, because my entire life, I've been over 6 foot since grade school.
Yes. He has never had to look up to anyone in his entire life, except for our son.
Yes, my son TJ comes over, our son. I have to look up when I'm talking to him.
Speaking of the NBA, I was on the court doing a photo shoot once.
With Kobe Bryant.
And he actually patted me on the butt.
She hasn't washed her butt since.
I told you not to tell them that.
We'll put pictures of that up too,
My
right?
butt?
Picture, no, not her butt, Kobe Bryant.
Yes.
Yeah, so the Fonz was a big one. Anyway, I got up there, and I didn't want to say the same cliche thing that, you know, everybody would say, like, oh man, I loved you as the Fonz, I watched you. He's like, yeah. He's got to pretend that he's like, oh really? You know, I would have liked it if he would have said to me, no, you watched me as the Fonz? Everybody watched me as the Fonz.
He's not rude like that. He was super low, super.
But the best, he was like, yes, very nice, thank you, thank you very much.
He kissed me on the cheek.
But the coolest thing was when we got up there and Lisa was behind me, he snapped his fingers and she ran right up to him in his arms.
No, actually, Frank was behind me and the Fonz snapped his fingers and he ran up.
He did kiss you though.
I know, I just said that. On the cheek.
Yeah.
I had a lot of cheek kissing.
Yes.
By famous people.
But it was great. I didn't say much. I just thanked him. I just said thanks for all you've done and shook his hand. And,
he took my hand while nice.
Yeah, that's the Morgan Freeman one.
Oh.
We got to get to the Morgan Freeman. Why don't you tell that one?
Okay. So this was a good one.
A very good one.
So Frank used to work for a place in Brooklyn where they sold amplifiers for basses. Do we want to tell details of that?
No, they don't want to hear that. But I got to hobnob
Yes.
with a lot of
hobnobbing
a lot
with
of
you.
famous musicians, especially jazz players.
Yeah.
And so we were at Dizzy Gillespie's club one night,
Yes.
where, by the way, incidentally, I saw the greatest musician I've ever seen, and we've been
Yes.
going to shows since we were young teenagers, and we've been to hundreds of concerts. And
Yes.
this kid was from Brazil, and he still is, and he played a harp. I mean, like a harp, and he played in a jazz setting with this harp, and I had tears in my eyes. Blew my mind. I'll put a link to a video of him playing in the description below. You've got to watch this kid. I was dumbfounded, flabbergasted, stupefied,
But
mesmerized.
Once the Morgan Freeman thing hit,
Yeah, so it was a great night already, and then
I forgot.
Angela Bassett was at the table with Morgan Freeman as well. Go ahead.
Yes. So we see them sitting at the table, and of course I'm like,
Well, first we're like, that's Morgan Freeman.
Literally, I'm like, it's Morgan? It really is Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Like that's Morgan Freeman. So
That's driving Miss Daisy.
Yes.
That's God.
Yeah. So I'm like, the whole time I don't hear any more music. I'm just plotting out how I'm gonna meet Morgan Freeman, or at least get a picture or something. And he's like, we can't really bother him. He's like in a, he's out having a good time, and like he doesn't want people bothering him.
Yeah, well, generally
This is
we're
a
like
high
that.
class-
Generally we are. We won't go up to somebody sitting at the table and be like, "Excuse me." We don't do that.
Well,
That's
you
rude.
did that time with
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Princess
No, we do
Bride
it. We do it all the
Yeah,
time.
Yeah, and we did.
I
with
lied.
Kinnicky. We did with Kinnicky. But anyway, remember the Princess Bride one for
Yeah.
next after this one. But yeah. So I'm just thinking, how am I going to meet him? How am I going to find? How's this going to work? So the show's over, and we're just standing where we are and not leaving. And he gets up from the table with his group, and he's walking past us and kind of in front of us, and I don't know, did you extend your hand to shake
I
his
went
hand?
over and just said something very short and sweet, like, very nice to meet you. We love your stuff. We love your work.
And he was just kind of going by, and then I put out my hand. Let's see if we can get like so, and he shakes my hand and then proceeds to turn around. You be him.
And start
you
talking.
be Morgan, and I'll be me. So he turns around and he's talking to somebody else about how he's going somewhere to watch his granddaughter in her play or something, and he's holding my hand the entire time. And then he has his other hand and he's like caressing my hand like this. And I'm standing there and looking at him, and I'm like,
Does this feel like how he did it?
No, it was better when he did it. He was, and I'm like, I'm holding hands with Morgan Freeman.
And it was for a while. He didn't let go.
And then it actually got to the point where I was like, this is really awkward, because I know now he's going to turn around and be like,
Why am I holding
who
your
are
hand?
you? And
why
am
didn't
I-
you let go of me?
Yeah, but I didn't want to like pull away, so he literally just kept holding my hand.
He was otherwise engaged.
Yes, but he was caressing me while he was otherwise engaged.
Yes. So that was a great one, the Morgan. We just watched a brand new Morgan Freeman movie the night
Yes.
before last. Was excellent.
Yes.
Can't think of the name of it.
Me either.
But it's on Netflix. You should check it out. It just came out. Wait, who did you tell me just to mention? Oh, the guy from Princess Bride.
Yeah.
He also does voices for Toy Story. He's one of the characters in there. Maybe the pig. I don't remember exactly, but he's got the very distinguished voice with the lisp. He's like, clearly you did not choose the glass in front of me. This guy. You might recognize him. I don't know his name. But anyway, we're walking down the street in Manhattan, and there he is, sitting in a cafe with a little railing that's about, 3 feet high, and he's right over the railing at a table there. And we're walking by, and we pass him, me and Lisa and the kids, and I say, that's the dude from Princess Bride. So we all turn around and look, and sure enough it is. So I go back, I put my hand on his shoulder, and I quote a line from the movie to him. He wasn't happy about it.
Because you touched your stranger.
Yeah, I touched
you
him.
touched him.
I touched him, but that's very Jersey.
Yeah.
I
He
put
was
my,
actually-
hey, how you doing?
Yeah. He actually was just sitting there eating alone, too. He wasn't even with anyone.
No, I think he was talking to somebody
No, I
else.
think he was alone.
No, he was. And he looked at me like, dude, what are you, nuts? You come up and you put your arm around me and you do an impression of me to me? And I was like, yeah, that is what I do.
Actually, that also reminds me, I'll think of a million people we met, but we used Dabney Coleman.
Oh, so me and my buddy Pat were in the city. Oh man, this is in the late 80s. No, this is in the early 90s. We're on 42nd Street and there's a church and we're walking by the church and there's a guy standing out there drinking a scotch on the rocks, just swirling it around and drinking it. We passed him, same thing, and I go to Pat, who was a big movie buff. And I turned to him, and at the same time he turned to me and he's like, Dabney Coleman. I'm like, yeah. So we went back and we were like, Dabney? And he was like, hey! And we BS'd for like 10 minutes with him.
Speaking of Dabney Coleman.
Super nice guy, still alive.
He is?
I believe he is. I found him last year. He might have passed away. I found him last year on the internet, like 91 years old or something.
Really?
You know him from 9 to 5. He was the boss.
Yeah, well, so when we were first dating, like, I was never a big movie, TV person. I didn't know I mean, big stars I knew, but I didn't know most. So we were watching, probably it was 9 to 5 or something, and you asked me you're like, who is that? And I'm like, I don't know. And you're like, it's Dabney Coleman. And I'm like, okay, I never saw him before in my life. So then, like, a couple days later, we watched something else, and Dabney Coleman was in it. So Frank,
War Games, another great movie.
So Frank says to me, who's that guy? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I never saw him before in my life. He's like, it's Dabney Coleman. I just told you 3 days ago, whatever. So I was like, okay. Then, like, months later, we watched something else or whatever. And
Same thing.
Same thing. Who is it?
So now every time I say to her, who is that? She's like, Dabney Coleman?
Yeah. And then he met him, so it was even
And it's not Dabney Coleman most of the time,
Yeah,
but she
well,
just
I-
takes a
yeah,
step.
yeah.
So how about
now I know who people
Bobby
are.
and Cindy Brady was a big one for you.
Yes.
Lisa's
Yeah.
a huge Brady Bunch fan.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
not huge to where like you're collecting pillows and hugging Greg on the pillow at night.
No, well, I didn't.
Not that kind of fan. Not a psycho
But I've
fan.
seen every episode 10 billion times. I can tell in that first little bum bum ba-na. I'm like, I know what episode it is. Like,
Yeah.
instantly.
You're like, the B flat was a little flat there, a little sharp. This
But
episode.
they also, you notice, like when it's a sad moment, they're like bum bum ba-na.
Well, they
Then
take
if-
the motif,
right.
that theme.
Then if it's a happy scene, they're like bum bum ba-na, ba-na-na-na-na-na, and you're like, oh, this is the good part or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Oh, we went to it was like a Comic Con kind of thing, but not comic.
Yeah, you meet and greet like
Yeah, we met a lot of
celebrities
people
that are
that day, yes.
that are sort of not celebrities
up.
anymore. Yeah, I don't want to say washed up, but they're not.
They're not in
they
the
may need a
forefront
boost.
anymore.
They may need a few bucks.
Yeah, so
Get
we
them
met
out
a
a
lot
couple
of
of
people
jams.
that day. Bobby and Cindy Brady, which I got my picture taken with them, and you could tell by the ridiculous smile on my face that I'm way too happy to be with them. I don't even know if I'll post that one. I'm kind of embarrassed at how happy I was. But we also met that day,
Ernest Borgnine,
Yep,
the
the
father from the
Family Ties.
Family Ties.
Yes, you got your
who I
picture
love.
there.
That guy's hilarious.
We met Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Damone from
Yes.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High was my favorite character
Yeah.
in the movie.
So you
And I
quoted
went
a
up and
line.
quoted a line to him, and he came right back with the next line in the movie, which was a highlight of my existence.
Yes.
I said, you see the mustache coming in right? That's how he talks. And he
Yeah.
goes, you can almost press it in. It was awesome.
Yeah, he was so excited. Who else?
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. You should watch that if you haven't seen it.
Charlie Bucket from Willy Wonka. We saw
Yeah, of
that,
course, we're huge.
Gustav.
Huge Willy Wonka fans. The
Veruca.
original, not the garbage afterwards.
Yes.
Forgive me if you
Veruca
like
we
it, but
saw.
you shouldn't. But it was cool to see, Veruca, all the kids from the cast of the original Willy Wonka movie.
Yeah.
Would
But
have
that
been,
was like a planned, like, go there and see them. All
Yeah.
the other ones mostly were, like, incidental.
yeah, like,
Or,
we'll save the best one for last, but we're running out here.
yeah, right. You would have thought Morgan Freeman would be the best one, which it was up there, but there's a best,
it's not the best.
one.
It's the best is yet to come.
Yes. So we
The
also
best is yet to come.
we went to see Costanza in a play on Broadway also.
Jason Alexander from
Yes,
Seinfeld.
yes.
George.
Fish in the Dark was the play, which I don't even remember.
It was good, but we don't remember. It's
Yeah,
too long
we
ago.
liked it when we saw it then. But
And we got to meet him after he comes out from backstage to get his limo, and he hung out for a while and took a lot of photographs and chatted with the people, and that was great. You'll see the picture right here.
yes, I actually did a little trickery because I flipped the phone around to do the selfie thing, but instead of just taking a picture, I had it set to record. So everything we're saying and doing is actually, it's a video plus a snapshot.
Yeah, that was great.
Yes.
Hi.
Can I get my
Yes.
selfie?
But where are you?
I don't know.
There you go. There you are.
Thank you.
There you go.
And then we also saw another Seinfeld cast member.
That same night.
Unless you're a huge fan, you wouldn't know Toby.
Yes.
But she gets her pinky toe cut off when it gets run
She
over
was
by...
great. Really, really great.
She gets her pinky toe cut off, gets run over by a bus, and Kramer picks it up, puts it in a box of Cracker Jacks with some ice, and gets it to the hospital so she can get it reattached.
Yes.
But we saw her.
Yeah, it was literally the same night. We left Costanza. We're walking around, and I guess she was in another play, and she was coming out.
We saw Steve Buscemi crossing the street from The Wedding Singer and a bunch of other. What was he had a big show on HBO years ago, Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
We saw him and other things. I'm thinking of other movies, Fargo. Anyway, we're crossing the street this way, and he's coming this way, and we pass him, and it's dark out, and he's got a hoodie on, and he's got his head down, and we pass him, and as soon as we pass, I yell out, "I see you, Steve," and he goes, and just kept walking. That was cool. Saw Bobby Flay.
Yes.
Me and TJ were in the city, and
TJ.
we already mentioned TJ, my 6'7" son.
Okay. I don't know if you said his name.
We're in the city. I don't know what we were doing. Go to a play, maybe. And we saw Bobby Flay crossing the street, and I go, "T, that's Bobby Flay." And he goes, "Yeah, guy's like this big." Literally, is how tall he is.
Oh, and you're 6'7".
He's walking across the street. I was like, "Bobby!" Super short guy. You'd be stupefied at how short he is, or how to be like 5'6".
Well, I'm 5'4".
Yeah, but for a man, that's pretty short, and it was shocking because you see him on TV, they look average height. Yeah. But then you see him in real life, and I'm like, wow. Yeah. And really thin, like a petite man. Also, you know who is just like that, but muscular, but very small, very petite. He was too. Cuba Gooding Jr. Saw him get out of a limo and cross the street, and
That was the same night that we went to the Dizzy Club. Oh no, that we saw Al Sharpton.
Yeah. We saw the big Al Sharpton. Then he became the small Al Sharpton.
Yes. That is correct.
Yeah. So, boy, there's a lot of celebrity sightings there.
We saw, what's her name, from Fried Green Tomatoes.
Fried Green Tomatoes on a lot of Broadway plays. Mary Louise Parker.
Yes, not Mary Stuart Masterson.
No. She's the other three-named girl. Yeah. Actually, we went to see Elvis Costello in concert, and he had, like, the old 60s bird cages hanging, and there were girls dancing inside there while the band was performing, and Mary Stuart Masterson... not Mary Stuart Masterson, Mary Louise Parker was one of the girls dancing in there. Yeah. She's a huge Elvis Costello fan, and she said, "Let me be one of the dancers," so that was really cool.
Yeah, all right.
Well, we could go on, but
we won't.
Let's say we saved the best for last.
Well, we forgot all the musicians, too, from the NAMM show. And,
it'd be another show. I mean, literally, tons. There are, way too many. We'll do that another time. But that was great. Also, we met the Cosby Kid, the oldest son.
Yes.
Theo.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's a lot more, really. Yes. But the best, the piece de resistance was...
Which I was doubly starstruck, to the...
Yeah, me too. I mean, huge fan. Al Pacino. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yes. That was after a play, too. So, we went to see Glenn Ross on Broadway. Our son bought us tickets to that.
And Al was in it. And he did not play the same role that he played in the movie, which is also phenomenal. If you haven't seen Glenn Ross, he played a different role, which was weird for me because I've seen Glenn Ross, no joke, 50 times.
Yeah, it was hard to process. Wait, he's not that person. Who is he?
He's Ricky Roma in the movie, but in this, he was another character. I can't remember who.
Was he Jack Lemmon's guy?
Yeah, I think he was Jack Lemmon's character.
Yeah. So anyway, when it was over, we waited outside, and he came out, and he also is basically the same height.
You have to be like 5'6", 5'8" to be an actor.
So actually, I should be an actress.
Yes.
Because I fit the suit.
Yeah.
Or the suit fits me. I fit the bill.
Well, I'm an actor.
Not Bill.
I'm an actor because I'm acting like you didn't just say that.
Oh boy. Anyway, that was a real starstruck moment too. So
that's almost like you can't talk. Like Pacino comes walking out the door, comes right up to you, and you're just like.
So he's going around. And
The Godfather.
He's going around.
Dog Day Afternoon.
And he's going around and he's signing people's things and putting his arm around and pictures and all that. And everybody is handing me their camera so that I could take a picture of them with Pacino. So I'm like, okay, here you go. Yeah, great. And this one, oh, can you take a picture? So I'm doing all that. And then he starts to walk away without acknowledging me. So Frank yells
I go, ow. Come on, she's been waiting. And
he forgot my wife. So he came over and I was Cheek to Cheek with Al Pacino.
With Michael Corleone.
Yeah, I have a picture of that too.
And that's not even my favorite movie. I mean, I'm not even a huge Godfather guy. I like the older Pacino with the gruff voice more.
You have to see Insomnia.
Insomnia.
Yes.
Pacino and Robin Williams of all people.
Yes.
Robin is there's no comedy in this. You know, he's a serious actor. It's dramatic acting. Phenomenal.
Yes.
We've seen that like 30 times too. No joke.
Hilary Swank is also in that.
A phenomenal movie.
Excellent.
Yeah. We should just do movie reviews.
Well, we'll do that next time, maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I literally walked away from that, like that whole I'm on cloud. I had the biggest smile on my face, like I didn't even know what was happening. I walked way ahead of you. I was just like,
well, and Justice for All was on the great Pacino movie. It's the young Pacino movie. And when he walked away from you, I screamed out the line from that movie to him. Something really wrong is going on around here. It's not true. Well, we should stop here. Why do I smell chocolate cake?
Because I have the chocolate cake candle burning.
You got it.
This happens
I had no
all
idea.
the time.
I had no idea you had a candle burning.
Actually, you should go
that
get it.
literally
Because,
smells like you baking brownies or something.
Yes. Every time our kids come over, they're like, they walk in the door and like, "Ooh, Mom, you baking brownies?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not.
Oh,
it's my Yankee Candle."
Oh, this is a
Yankee
good one.
Candles, actually, yeah. I feel like this is a commercial. Yeah. So Yankee Candles are literally amazing.
Yeah, they're great. But this one, what is the name of this?
I think chocolate layer.
Chocolate Lake. Lisa is a candle freak, and we've had candles for 40 years,
Yes.
and this is by far the most delicious smelling candle. It smells literally like grandma's baking cookies or brownies or a chocolate cake.
Yes.
Every time. I'm gonna put
Not only that, it's like typically when you first light a candle, you can kind of smell it a little bit. The entire house smells, and like I said, you open the door and it just wafts out.
Yeah. Well, in case you're interested in checking this out, I'll throw the link in the description below to Amazon for this candle if they have it, and you can check it out. We need to buy another one too.
Even if they don't, I have like
They're not
I have
cheap.
3, like a backup.
They're not cheap, but they're awesome, and they last forever.
Yes, they are well worth it. You look at the price maybe and go, I don't know, but trust me, and it lasts forever. Literally.
A lot of these
forever.
candles, like she always wants to shop for candles wherever we are. If there's a candle store, we'll go in and we end up opening them. Oh, smell this one. Ooh,
Yeah,
smell this one.
learned.
Smell Hawaiian volcano. Ooh, smell pumpkin spice. Ooh, smell this one. Streets of San Francisco.
Banana nut bread is also an amazing one. That one's really hard to find, I believe.
They smell great, but then you get them home and light them, and they don't smell.
Right, that's why I'm saying I've done the homework. Only buy Yankee candles because they're amazing. Every
Lisa
time.
says.
Yeah.